last week? Promise. Let me keep my smile. All the insensitivity made me very sensitive, afraid to smile, to be. My heart is a repository. Infinita tristeza. I get lost in my sadness, surreal as grief. Shifting landscape of ghosts, dark and in pain. I can only understand them, not relieve their suffering. We can only do our best, keeping up with shadows, bruises. Your love right now is bright, real, fresh, whole. Trust is hard to come by. I can't look in the mirror much. I see members of my family. Safety is a joke I tell myself that rarely seems true. The present is so much better. I need to live more inside it instead of associating with ghosts. Ghosts come up on their own. I have no control, neither do they. I say, I'm sorry. They say I had to do a lot of things I didn't want to do. All this time, your love, nature's giving and abundant offerings, sources of joy in my life, you and flowers are all seeds full of promise. First up, we have Robert Stone.
A lot of you know that I write birthday poems exceedingly often, but this poem is a poem on the 4th anniversary of a death of someone that I never actually met. But I met several people, her daughters and one of her grandchildren. No day before is known as day before until the day has shown its happenings. It is that thing that we cannot ignore that in our future joy or sadness brings. No year is just the way we would it were, for life too easily upends our goals. It is the chance that options will recur, that in pursuits our hopefulness controls. No life mature is what life young could see, for things will come that had no being then. It is that force sustaining little wren that in the wild escapes again. No past or present is entirely lost, though bits and pieces constantly are tossed. Thank you.
How lovely, Robert. Thank you. Next, we have Mossy McFly. He'll come back. Okay. Next, Karen Yeargin.
Karen, and I'm going to read a poem called The Cost of Redemption. My mother told me I'm a disappointment with no work ethic. The truth is, none of us choose to be beggars. Would you believe me if I said there is a softer way? Kicking an ATM machine, scratching off lottery tickets, diving in dumpsters. She says she's ashamed of me. My father can't claim me, and my brother has a blank stare. Would you believe me if I said, I don't want your pity? Fast forward a few years, that felt like centuries in my gut. I've been accepted into college, employee of the month, bills paid on time. I found a way out, the smallest solution, something to be proud of. My mother still blames me, my father is absent, and my brother forgets my name. To some people, even the small victories will never be enough. But would you believe me if I told you that with success, I still can't afford the cost of redemption? Honor and esteem are carrots dangled over the heads of people like me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. Powerful. Is Mossy McFly here? All right, cool. Yay.
How you doing? So, usually usually I don't do this, but so yeah, really, yeah, I make music and I rap, but every now and then I get up here and spit a poem or two. I got a brief piece for you called When God Sheds a Tear. When God sheds a tear. Sometimes it sounds like everything that brings on fear. Sometimes it sounds like enemies at the front and your friends at the rear. And then they switch places. And then I switch faces. And then as a captain, I switch bases. Because I messed up, but there's really not written on paper, so can I mess up? But the point is, when God sheds a tear. Sometimes it sounds like, and I'll crack open another beer. It sounds like when the chicken was looking up at the sky and saying, yeah, something dangerous is coming near. Or sometimes it sounds like that old drunk dude that was building that big old boat. He said a flood's coming. He just said, nah, you just done had too much of that beer. But when God sheds a tear.
Thank you so much. Now we have Craig Freeman.
Thank you. All right, what's going on? My name's Craig Freeman. So most of my poetry is just filled with reflections on my life, and there's just recorded conversations that I have with myself. It's the best way to look at it. So this first one is called Time to Work, and I wrote this last month, and it's my first time sharing it. Sorry. It's 5 a.m. I roll off the wrong side of the bed. I check my voicemail. It says, closed mouths don't get fed. Early bird, but I don't want the worm. I snap my lips to confirm I'm not in the mood, but for food, I'll trade you my thoughts. First time in weeks, I had an appetite to write. Turbulent astral flights have kept me up at night. Instead of counting sheep, I've been counting my mistakes. I just walked away from a soulmate. All in the name of personal gain, I'm paranoid. I delete images to fill the void, but I can't erase the Polaroid stained with moments of our joy. A convoy of emotions rise when I think of you, because I found truth in the work I do, but it did not include you. I heard someone say there's so much beauty in pain. Tell that to the parents of the slain musician last week, or the parents of the teens who received the call from the police thinking this can't be my baby. I felt for them. We all want to feel free, joyriding through life in the search of an identity. In the same week, I was asked to speak about Black history in our gentrified Music City. However, they didn't look like me, and I've never seen them at any Black events or promote Black establishments in their Facebook statuses. With fake excitement, I said, thank you, but I'll be busy being Black. And that's history. Okay, I'm lying. What I wanted to say was that Black men sharing their hearts over beats is the reason why I'm not history. It occurred to me that I'm scared to tell people how I feel inside. I come from a long line of Black men scared to share what's on their mind, trying to rise above the stereotype of being the bottom of mankind, doing whatever it takes to survive the programming that's destroyed the Black family. Frankly, I'm not sure if my family tree starts in the West Indies, Middle East, Africa, or right here in America. Our identity was stripped from us, reduced to a color. I'd rather bubble than other. My mother always said, boy, can't no one control you. A lesson that produced a rebel who rather dig his own grave and knows Black history didn't begin with slaves, but I'm a slave to writing and finding out who I am. White supremacy, white inferiority made me feel less of a human being. Because how can it be supreme when you have to step on someone else's self-esteem just for you to be seen? The feeling of being inferior is the best time to look in the mirror. You see the person you become. Reflect and ask yourself, am I okay with the work that I've done? Thank you. Right, so the second one is called Smooth Criminal. It's about karma. So here it is. She lays her head on my chest, heartbeat knocking like the feds. I refuse to open up. It will be my luck. She raids my man cave. Take everything I kept safe for rainy days, and I'm left with the sum of a pint of rum to drink my thoughts away. I can't escape the cage of my ego. It says I can't trust a soul. When love picks at the lock of my heart, I tighten my jaw so I love you can't break out. I prefer you face down, hands around your waist. When I stab you from the back, you won't see my face. I'm a smooth criminal. I'll rob your temple, then moonwalk past your peripheral. You blink and try to explain what you've seen, but I point my finger and call you crazy. Sweet lady turns sour when you think of all the hours you put into me. In exchange, I paid you with toxic energy, and I am so sorry for stealing your time, because karma pays someone to steal mine. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Craig. That was awesome. Now we have Henry L. Jones. And Henry's our feature next month.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So there I was looking for something. I got all these boxes and had a box of poetry. And I was like, man, what am I going to do with this? And I just put them aside. And I just lifted up a stack. And I said, man, what was I writing back then? And this poem I'm about to share with you is what I came on. I was like, man. And it doesn't have a title, but it's going to come. Here it goes. The soft light reflects from my walls, filling the room with bright, cheerful, dancing images. These images shimmering with a happiness unabandoned flood my brain through these holes in my head called eyes. These strange creatures soar through the pinks, blues, and whites of happiness to the strains of beautiful music. The melody lingers above the clouds, the silent beat of drums far below. It's a little reflection here on this yellow sheet. The rhapsodies of love tattoo the heavens with the passion of soft, warm kisses. These sounds and strains flood my mind through the holes in my heart called ears. Brandy's warm, full-bodied and calming, evade my being, bringing a hush, a contentment here before unknown. Distilled from fragrances and juices of the world, these nectars cascade of bliss throughout my being. These bitter, biting, stinging, soothing, rushing, ramming spirits storm the castles of my mind through the gap, the bucket, the gutter in my head called a mouth. The living, the dead, the hushed, the moving, the wind blows. The softness of the life over my face, with it comes from the dry desert, the soft, salty oceans, the acid, the sweet, the sweat, the odor of things unseen, the aroma always new, yet forever known, persistent. Now come the rye of the fields, now the roses of the bush, honeycups, violets, honeysuckle. Never seen, but always seeping, boiling, tearing, tingling into my mind through these down and holes in my head called a nose. The sights, sounds, tastes, and smell of the surroundings of me, painting in an unseen picture of those things which I have yet to see. I peep into my heart, wondering, which way, where do I go? My heart is gone, useless, escaped. The hole in my head, yet unseen. I was real happy when I wrote that. All right, this other one is about Jefferson Street. I found this one. I wanted to share that with you. I haven't read it in a while. It's called The Prophet, the Dreamer. No need for sacrifices. The child died and rose. Stigmata stained our faces when we hid our eyes from the truth. Why do we baptize in chlorine? Old folks became Dixie cups and the prophets became jujus. And we stopped being black, just mixed up with so many things. Can't be real like Zen stuff. Blackness and nothingness floated all a trance, this trance. The passion story, when Christ pulled his hands and feet from the nails and placed a black child in his place. They said the child raped a white woman while trying to change his tie in the wrong neighborhood. His shadow cast from Golgotha swings, flames, glistens, cracks from a sycamore tree. Black, evil effigy, burn to receive salvation. Let's turn the other cheek, maybe we'll all be saved. Passed by some brothers on Jefferson Street, sitting in a big bus depot, smoking crack or something, so they say. Red tip blowing blues I can't hear anymore. Been away from my people's eyes and souls. They sucked hard on those white tips, pages torn from history. An omen was etched in the plexiglass. They looked at the symbols, then smiled at me, offered me a hint. If I was a prophet, I could read their eyes and what was etched in that glass. And this last one is called Strangers for Pretending. Strangers walk by wearing masks layered with makeup, no promises. Make love to me. Don't look into my eyes or try to touch me. Make the skin warm and move the heart. Let me pretend to be alive, real. The fears of my childhood, lost and stolen innocence. Who understands the shame of the hidden child? Who hides under the stairs and looks at? Who walks by, keeping quiet as people pass by? Laughter fell from their lips, dripping greed to cannibalize their flesh. Mouth eat and bite till the pain becomes pleasure. Dry lips become wet with desire, but nothing seems to fulfill their emptiness. Souls so vacant, but so many residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. That was beautiful. Now we have spoken words. I'm giving his bio real quick. I'm so excited. All right. Get this right instead. Spoken words. Friends call him Spoke. No publications, no certifications, no degrees, just a knack for speaking inwards and words. Spoke is a raw slam poet who insists on pushing boundaries while being versatile, topical writer. A local poet out of Antioch, Tennessee, Spoke gained momentum after winning the Vox Poetry Slam in 2017, and since then is featured at multiple venues in Nashville, such as Po Boys and Poets, The Vanguard, Poetry in Motion Live, Vanderbilt University, Wine and Rhymes, and The Loft at Ella Jean's. Welcome, Spoken Words.
Thank you guys for having me. This is crazy. So yeah, I've been doing this for a little minute, and it's been very liberating to just see how big poetry is in the Nashville scene. It's been very, very humbling, and I love it. Brought a couple musicians with me. Got my man Fredrick Weathersby here. He runs the Monday night jazz that's at Moguls, but they're currently moving into a new spot. It's my man Mossy McFly. I've been knowing Mossy for a little minute. I met him at Ella Jean's, and he's just been very multi-talented guy. Great on the bass, plays a lot of different instruments. Miss Jessica Johnson here, great keyboardist. One of my musicians had to step out, but he will be right back in. I call him my Lord and Savior, Mr. the Music City Messiah, Black Wizzle is his name that he goes by. He'll be in here shortly. So, got a few pieces. Let's see, let's do this one. Okay, so this one is about, this one's interesting. Okay, so this piece is about Adam and Eve, but it's more so like a metaphor on relationships between a man and a woman and just everything. You'll see. He made meals out of the human anatomy, particularly the female. Look, I'll spare you the details, but it baffled me. Now, they say he's man, but he claims to be more so human in his nature. His wilderness dies by his very own vapors. Forest burns down from its jungle fever, but the bush stays around and their fruits are eager. Some of the stranger ones swing low from a sweet chariot grown by a slave religion, and their graves won't bury it. I swore I saw a harlot in that garden. She was trying to reason with that serpent of the season. You know, the one that came from Eden. Well, in the evening, they fooled man who came into Eve, and she then sprouted a serpent seed planted by a heathen. That harlot went to put her weaving. She dug deep in the ground for the Indian tracks, came across a hatchet that read Cain's name on the back, but to man she just came across ratchet. So he tried to use her to fix his habits. But her words ain't chiropractic, basically ain't no way that she could back it. Now the forest cannot flourish, and it's acting kinda whorish. Everyone's pushing daisies, they fornicating with the florists. The tulips are a mess, damsels in distress. Man is a spawn, and he's fighting with his flesh. You know how like the superhero Spawn fights with his flesh. But yeah, that's that one, so that's the first one, thank you. Okay, so this next one, alright, okay, so this one is for like, it's gonna be like a little love, kind of love feel, love poem. You ever been in like in that part of a relationship where you know it's pretty much over, like it's kind of on its way out? You kind of go through a lot of the same things. It's kind of like, you know, just reoccurring. You're arguing about the same thing a lot of times, and there's a certain time where it's just like you don't even want to argue anymore. Like you don't even really give a damn about winning any more damn arguments. You're done keeping score and shit. So this one's called Love Patterns. I've been going through these love patterns just to fall deep in love's caverns. I lived in love backwards, pick up the pieces when love shatters. I sit and drink in love's taverns, get mad when love scatters, like when did black love matter? Just that love between a man and a woman, you know, those two who love wild since birth. We ain't been nothing but a voodoo love child. I could sense earth when I sense love birth, though I don't give 2 cents about how much you think love is worth. They keep telling me to keep her by my side like she my rib, but she been there. Sometimes she's so cold-hearted for real, like my piece of steel, though we still revolve around love. We went from lovers to revolvers, and you can see how our conversations are a blast. I'm not even really sure how much longer it could last. I mean, we always on and off again. Maybe it does matter. You know those damn love patterns that stagnant, always thinking, what's new love? That I want you, but I don't trust you, love. Can't talk, but we can text, love. All we do is argue, scream, and have good sex, love. I mean, your worst moments are like my best ofs. I mean, do the kisses and hugs hide all that line in the so-called, hey, it ain't cheating if we don't tell, so snitches get stitches if you're trying to hit this. Is it worth it? Just to start over in the end with another pretty face that can't look that ugly truth in disguise, while you, too, disguise as that BS representative that y'all role play on your Facebook and Instagram pages. That love word is a mouthful, so bitter when I taste it, I hate it, but I love it. Love patterns are like the phases of a dream I've had over and over. You gotta detox me, these feelings got me strung out. hungover and hardly sober, but when the love's just right, it's such a natural high. And I be talking to myself like, hey man, you could wallow in your excuses, as if your life is a dull black and white painting fool, or you could recite in the many colors of these Langston hues. Whether or not you understand it, you gotta feel it, like you feel the pressure when the stress is too much to deal with, so you fold when the time comes. Gotta hold tight to your partner and squeeze to that pressure, make diamonds. But they say that little feeling, you gotta trust it. Love at first sight is a lot of nothing. I mean, love patterns have me sewing up the heartbreak, thinking my commitment, I gotta cut it, but you gotta love it. Hey, thank you. Okay. All right. This next one. All right. This next one's interesting. Okay. So this next one is actually about drugs and drug abuse. What's up? What's up? How you doing? That's my man, Black Wizzle, my Lord and Savior, Music City Messiah, guitars, Bobby. Okay, just in time. All right. So this piece is it's called Narcotics. It's about a lot of different things. It's about peer pressure, drug abuse. It's a lot of different things. It's interesting. I've never done this one. I haven't done this one yet. It's pretty old, but I've never actually performed it. So it's gonna be cool. All right. Pardon my peer pressure. I got a weird gesture. See, I'm just trying to blow your mind and hurt your pleasure. I seem to sow the seams of all the woven dreams. So I sow the weaves and I blow the trees, so it seems. As you inhale those chemtrails, you better prepare your lungs. This air is done. Some saying hell is fun. I say hell has just begun to rain bullets, and until you pull it, that trigger ain't nothing more than a fun poke. No more vapors, I'd rather breathe gun smoke. See, now your heart is throbbing from the narcotics. Don't you punk out that gas if you can't puff and pass. I'm really just trying to find a way to make this empty conversation last. Just listen up a bit. This conscious brother told me that your pineal gonna be stimulated and the ancestors' reincarnation is penetrating. Understand the gift of death is liberating, like there's no more torture in this life of sin. And the women and men of melanin be in the hell within. Then he was like, you know what, forget that. I'ma just tell you how you can roll the perfect blunt. See, first cut should be deepest in the swisher. When it break, it should be even like Premiere on a mixer. Even as the space where a little tobacco is replaced. You see how I took out the guts like Jack the Ripper when he took out the sluts? I'm just saying a hard shell will make a soft ass when I put out the butts. And when it was ready, I took a long L to the whole face and seen that every blunt had its own shape like a snowflake. And I seen blood in the leaves as I cried when my family tree burned my bleeding eyes. I had my eye beams burning my relationships, the ones that like to sell off with the wings that fly. My mind state was thinking in stanzas, rolling blunts and dice is how I was taking chances. I mean, my point was just to make a joint and smoke that chimney out with Santa. And I had a vivid dream. I was weaving through the jungle wearing a cowboy hat. Woke up weaving through her jungle on the Indian tracks, taking reservations to manifest my destiny. I bet those butts you put out ain't got nothing on these ashy knees. I'm just saying. Now you blew your own high, and you blew your only chance to get over the sky. He said, get out of here. I'm just trying to put the fear in the atmospheres. Ain't that right, brother? I just hope you make it down. I make that clear? Aight, brother. Cause really, I'm just trying to help you die. Ain't no point in living when you've been living lies. If you gon' get up, you might as well get up high. They say when I speak, it's like that hard product. That's why I'm trying to chop it up like some narcotics. Thank you. That was this one right here. Okay, so this one was pretty interesting. I have a friend called Leah Lovett. Last year, she threw an open mic. It was called Open Hands, Open Hearts, Open Mic. It was basically we brought canned goods and we were donating it to the poor, and I think like proceeds from the actual show also went to a charity, so that was cool. So I decided to I wrote a piece. It's called Poor Soul. Okay. You poor soul. Why can't you seem to fit in their shoes, those poor souls? Why do the rich seem to wear what the poor soul? You precipitate shame, that's why you pour so little. Still that cup runneth over, no need to pour. So let's just tilt the Big Dipper so it rains on the poor. So much their faces fill with their pores. Oh, no, even if they don't got your back like it's a Porsche stove. I was just a thirsty poor soul pouring out his soul. Is it running too fast? I'll just pour slow. They say you always making it rain, that's why you pour, so what's the point of being lit when it continues to pour? Yo, what's the point of acting out just to put on a poor show? I mean, I wish I had the strength at the poor show. You know them lost spirits? We saving these poor souls, losing religion just to find shoes for the poor souls. I couldn't stomach being starved, it was leaving my line in torso. Me and my homies couldn't afford no more. We had to sell our worthless poor souls, but for what? Nothing too pivotal, I mean, had to get some new J's and still couldn't stand on principle. Our pride had us left for dead rather than being fed. We used to be about that dough. Now it's like we too broke to break bread. I can't even believe the words I just said. Pay me no mind. Cause this ain't no woe is me or a cry to help the poor you see or the ones you don't see. We coming in peace. We the pieces that you won't see. Invisible as you drive by. So typical, I mean capitalism wakes up our American dream so minuscule. We look for Robin Hood while they steady robbing the hood and the suburbs. You can see how the income go from the lower to the upper. Is this what the government or just how they choose to govern it? War on poverty is like war on sovereignty. I'm sorry, it just bothers me. Continue to drive by, but if you see my sign fly right through your window, just know I did it for my kinfolk that sit outside your window with that needle, trying not to give in. So while you brag about all of your presidents, it's becoming very evident they don't give a damn. Taking loans from the bank, they don't care what you think. You don't give a damn. Spending billions on these campaigns and ain't saying a damn thing, but we don't give a damn. And to your country you complain, but you refuse to be the change. No, you don't give a damn. You don't care. You poor soul. Okay, so got one more. Okay. So, I'm messing this up like crazy. Okay, alright, so this is going to be the last one I do. This is one of the first pieces I ever performed. It's called Manhood. Yeah. I performed this. I probably performed this one like a couple times. This one, I'm gonna just do it. You'll catch it. Okay. This one is dedicated to the brothers. They question our manhood because we ain't been keeping that. Look, dog, these be the facts. Our sanity was lost till we found insane. Riding with the slaves in the waters that wade. Our dreams deferred, But who are we but words? Empty nouns and verbs spoken next to slurs. They keep telling me our community been in shambles, and the poisons and the roots that grows through our family tree. Our herb is now urban, and the bloods on the tea leaves is quite disturbing. The seeds of doubt have been planted, and it's just how they planted. I mean, we the low-hanging fruits of our own labor. We used to grow our own food until we were fed a savior. Now we the weeds that harden, running with the hose in the garden. I mean, it'd be nice to learn to love the sisters better so we could grow freely. Like why we say we love Gina, but always got something to say about Celie. I mean, I see we on our way to war. And like, you selling out for what's in store, but what side is you on when the guns get drawn? Cause me, I got that same lead in the pencil while these other brothers go broke for a bin still. But I get it though, cause growing up we used to watch them spinners till we got dizzy. Now we get dizzy with a desi. Laughing when the Daphnes get fingered by the Freddy. Time is coming, I notice we ain't ready. Oh, you know, just talking about when the Jim Crow lands in his nest with all the grace of the black swans on his chest. And the shooters who assist won't pass his test. Even if you one of them grizzly shooters and you bear arms that bear harm, see, America made sure there was no more lights left in life's tunnel. I guess that's why it's women we run through. We be the plantation studs holding guns too. See how they hunt you? I heard the U.S. said they'd fund you. Sorry, black boys, we still getting Maury Povich to son you. We got the silver tongues. We got the gold diggers. Our hearts fold quicker. But we both the same, man. Life's a poker game for all those who tell. You know, the devils that fell, landed in this hell that some like to call the ghetto. If you in a thumb war with Mr. Geppetto, I know this life is hard, but don't ever let go. And how disrespectful when these coons call themselves goons that point the chrome at their own. Where is time gone? I was a headache that left the mind blown. Think again. Look, I know a few white rappers that spit verses till they pink again. But what's the color of the God you believing in? But tread lightly. We all know the feds just might be closer than kin, but then we seen a few black cops that'll form a truce with the noose around our throats. They said it was cuffing season. You might want to take some notes. I mean, the sister told me she afraid of her own kind because the brothers ain't been on the front line. Like, damn, had me questioning who I am. They say gang banging spilt our blood in the streets and now we the walking dead. Or is it that the gangs bang and spilt the bloods in the streets and began to paint the town red and the Crips are well equipped, along with the GDs and the vice lords who paid the price for war. I remember they used to protect my people from the black and blue forces of evil, but now it's like we can't trust blacks, blues, or reds of any color. I mean, damn, don't they call us colored people? The truth is in our vanity. I mean, personally, I believe we are even a reason that there's a hue in humanity. So, once again, to my brother. What's the color of the God you're believing in? Listen, I notice you like to call yourself a king, but I'm starting to think that's more of an identity crisis and the main reason why you like to drag queens, dog. It's such a sad scene. But I see, and we all here. Look at us. I mean, don't we look so fly in this Venus trap? Bottom line, like I said in the beginning, the question I'm in, we ain't been keeping that. And these be the facts. Thank everybody. Thank y'all. Cool. Alright, one more. Alright. By the way, you can find me on Instagram at Spoken Words 92. Also on Facebook at Spoke_Words. So this one, all right. So okay, this one is here's what this one's about. This one's about colorism in basketball. So you'll see how I do this. So many evils infecting the colored people. Every time my pen break, it's like a new shade for black, or a new name for Negro, or a new Craig fighting Debo in the hood. You can see how they shoot with or without free throws. If you can get it understood, you know what it's like to sweat in a white man's court where you face the foul lines. Picture 2 free agents that play for their freedom, and how they dribble was like brushstrokes so frank. I mean, the court is their campus. Boscow, how they stayed hard in the paint and shoot the same bricks that we sell to the youth, and you can see how we grow up addicted to putting in work with the handles to cross over color lines with 1 Euro step at a time. I remember when Curry came along and changed our complexion to a golden state. What you expect? Us dark-skinned brothers are supposed to hate. Some of y'all be changing colors just to win. Y'all be losing that hue within, and you'll plead a slow death. I'm watching as the blood cover all the brown in the end. Yeah, Doug Williams told me about you black dudes with red skin. But even with all the blood, we still feeling them Pyro blues, and sometimes I do too. I'm not even concerned about how many is crooning. Though some of y'all be hiding that white inside, I can see it, I promise, y'all can't play me. Nah, I ain't saying you Caucasian, just in the aftermath, a lot of you are shaking. Okay, that's it right there. Thank you guys for having me. Shout out to Amy Jackson, Flatrock Poetry, my man Fredrick Weathersby here, Rebecca Johnson, Sckoot McDuff, aka Black Whistle, and Mossy McFly. Thank y'all. By the way, just want to let everybody know, I want to give a special shout out to my mother right there, Sonia Pillow, and my aunt, Piper Johnson.
Anyone else? Yeah? Okay. Drake Moreno.
Well, howdy. Good. Actually, yeah. Probably like a lot of us. Had a little boxing match with a spitting up and that sort of thing. But, well, I'm fortunate. It looks like we've got a little extra time here. I fortunately just happen to have another one in my pocket. That I thought, okay, I trimmed these down so I can do it in 4.5 minutes. But I have another one in my. So I'll do 3. I'll do 3 is what I'll do. First one, let's see here. This one's a rework of one that it's possible somebody might have heard. It's called Your New Niche. By the way, let me get rid of this gum. I'm going to get rid of this gum, sorry. That's kind of gross, ain't it? How's that for gross? Yeah, that's real good for gross. We give you 8.5. Your New Niche by Drake R. Moreno. Your latest ex told me you'd come out of social isolation. You had discovered a group of pamphleteering gladiators of God who worshipped in a tawdry storefront church. The holy rollers of this congregation feared the end times and metaphorically girded their loins for battle, for holy war against Satan and his unholy minions. Plentiful amongst the newest members of this fellowship were addicts and alcoholics, battered wives, and wife beaters, advocates of racial war, homeless folks, and just plain crazies. You soon discarded your mufti, second-hand store clothing which you burned in your outdoor fireplace. You revealed yourself as the feminine incarnation of God's grace, of his high regard for his blessed and motley flock. In record time, you had purchased the entire storefront property and the huge adjacent parking lot. In short order, your architect presented the congregation with beautiful full-color renderings of the forthcoming glorious new temple. Its graceful spire would be topped with a gilded golden cross, which would be illuminated at night and visible for miles around. Hallelujah! You had found your new niche. The Holy Ghost-filled faithful were now your new best friends. Your kind of people. People who adored you. Nay, they worshipped you. As once did I. All right, this one here I had to edit out, not just for time reasons, but I changed a couple of words here. So it's called "If You're a Real Man." Before I dropped out of college, I was a captain in my school's Army Reserve Officers Training Corps, ROTC, pronounced ROTC. A few months later, I applied to the draft board for full conscientious objector status. I did not wish to kill Vietnamese or patch up wounded Americans who did. This angry little piece is based on a confrontation with an older veteran who was sleeping with my mother. 2 words have been changed to protect the ears of the innocent, but are there a lot of innocent ears in this room right now? No kids?
Express yourself.
All right, okay. Well, then I also need to know about the internet, if this goes on the internet.
They allow that here now.
Okay. Well, I mean, anyway. So, 2 words have been changed to protect the ears of the innocent children here today or viewing this later on the internet. That's what I wrote. So, but I'll see if I change it back to the right place. All right. It's called "If You're a Real Man" by Drake R. Moreno. If you're a real man, you've got friends who are much more than billiards and drinking buddies at the local bar. If you're a real man, you apologize when you screw up. And you do your best to make things right. If you're a real man, you'll understand that my mother is not a piece of meat or a female dog. You don't catcall, wolf whistle, fanny pat, or leer, and never in public. If you're a real man, you don't go out of your way to put people down, and you don't make yourself feel better by making others feel worse. And if you are a real man, you motherfucking asshole, you'll come down those You'll come down those last few stairs right now, and you'll show me just exactly how easy it is for a bloated, alcoholic, ex-Army Ranger like you to kick my ass. Thank you. Last one's called Fountain of Youth by Drake R. Moreno. I'm afraid to tell you about who I really am, because I fear that if I do, you may no longer like me. If I share thoughts and feelings which cause you concern or alarm, you might dismiss me as not as true friend material, doing it ever so kindly and gently. I'm afraid to tell you the tales of sexual abuse I suffered in my childhood, because I'd love to be more intimate, an open book, but you might not feel at ease. If I describe the warmth and wonder you elicit with kisses of greeting and adieu, I fear that your therapist's eyes may see it as a troublesome symptom of my maladies. These tiny treasures that I've hoarded in my heart may appear to you so meager, a trove of smiles, hugs, and kind words for my poetry give purest pleasure to me. Never knowingly, dear one, would I ever do you any sort of harm. This warrior would die for you, trade his life to save yours in a pinch. I say this sincerely. Now, imagining that I am your suitor, a guy who wants to date you, or otherwise. Imagining that I am your suitor, favored by greatest fortune, or your compassion. I picture my tongue and lips, my hands and my heart on a quest to uncover and discover restorative bliss in the welling nectar of longed-for passion, a fountain of youth, as in your bed our limbs entangled, I become your blessed and grateful lover. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Drake. That was really beautiful. Does anyone else want to read? All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much, Karen and Steve. And thank you so much to Spoken Words. Did such a great job. Group picture for all the poets who read today. Is that fun? All right. Thank you.